Hi everyone, today I am washed out apparently. Today I'm back with another modelling video. I'm just going to answer all my most frequently asked questions I get about modelling. A lot of you guys DM me asking me questions and for advice, and I love getting back to you guys about that and having conversations with you. A lot of you ask me questions in my YouTube comments, and I also do like question boxes on Instagram, so I'm going to combine like them three and answer my most frequently asked questions. Obviously this is from my point of view, it's not on behalf of every single model in the world. I've screenshotted a few on my phone. I'm going to try and get through as many as possible, so I'm going to try and keep my answers quite concise, which probably won't happen because we all know I like to ramble on. Hopefully your question gets answered in this video. So the first question I'm going to answer is probably my most asked question, or the category most of the questions. Yeah, or the category most of my questions fall into is about height. A lot of you ask me how tall I am. How tall do you have to be? Is it true that only 5'10" and above models can get certain castings? What is the ideal height for a female? Why can't I read? What is the ideal height for a female runway model? The realistic height requirements for high fashion. So a lot about height. I'm going to try and summarize the answers. I am 5'11", which I think is 180 centimeters tall. So pretty tall for a female. I haven't always been tall growing up. Obviously, like, I was shorter when I was growing up, but when I was growing up I was kind of average height or a bit below average, and then all of a sudden I just shot up kind of in like second half of secondary school, I think. There's the answer to that. I'm 5'11". And agencies and height requirements, every agency has different requirements. There are agencies for petite models, there are agencies that are more traditional and more high fashion, so they prefer taller models. Some agencies will only accept models over a certain height. There are so many different agencies. It's about finding an agency that suits you and your needs, your requirements, who you are. So the answer is basically you don't have to be tall to be a model. If you look on clothing websites, they'll have like petite models for their petite sections, whereas runway models are traditionally taller, maybe over 5'9", 5'10", but the industry is becoming a lot more inclusive. The question I've got asked in my comments is, would your modelling agency allow you to dye your hair unnatural colours? Obviously you're your own person, you can do what you want, but your agency will advise you if they think you're making like a wrong decision that could get you less jobs or could affect your career in a negative way. There are a lot of models that have dyed their hair different colours and become very successful because of it, so it could go either way really. Another hair related comment I got was from a girl, and she said she's about to take some photos to apply to an agency from home, and she was wondering if it would put the agency off if she has box braids in her hair or whether she should just have her natural hair. No, it shouldn't put an agency off if you have box braids. There are a lot of successful models that have braids. I'd say take the photos however you feel most confident, because that will come across in the photos if you're feeling confident. But I'd say if you do have any photos of like your natural hair without braids, maybe include them just so the agency can see in like a completely natural form. As I said, I get quite a few DMs from people asking for advice about modelling. Either they want to start modelling, or they're like applying to an agency, or they've just signed. So one DM I got was from someone who's an aspiring model. She really wants to start modelling, but she said the main thing that's stopping her from fully pursuing it is that she feels extremely unphotogenic. She feels like she looks like a completely different person and thinks she looks way better in real life than like through a camera. So she wanted to know, are there any ways to be more photogenic, or can I relate? I can relate, not so much now because I've kind of just learned to accept like how I look through like a camera and different cameras and different angles. I've just accepted that's how I look, and I know that's a lot easier for a lot of people to say compared to how they actually feel. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie, I'm not always 100% confident in how I look. It's taken me years to feel comfortable without having loads of makeup on or without heavily like editing a photo. So it is a process for some people, and for others it just comes naturally. Any tips on how to be more photogenic? I would say practicing. If you're just at home and there's someone about who can just take photos of you, maybe you particularly like an outfit, find something that you feel confident in and have like a little mini photo shoot. They can capture all different angles, and over time you'll find angles that you like of yourself, angles that you don't think you look great from. Just practicing, doing little photo shoots, even like self-timers if no one's around, can help you feel a lot more photogenic. I also think movement's really important, because I feel like a lot of people feel like they look unphotogenic in photos because of, for example, the way they're standing, their stance. Maybe they think they look quite rigid or quite awkward. So I think movement can help a lot. Like dancing, maybe explore kind of playing around with different poses and loosening parts of your body. It can really help you look more confident, rather than if you're just standing straight. Even like popping a hip out or bending a leg or placing your arms differently, it can all help. I also get quite a few questions about age. So I remember someone asking me, is modelling too much to take in at 14? And someone's also said, can I become a model and do big things like travel at 16? There's no like particular path that everyone follows. Some models could start at 14 and become absolutely massive straight away, like be a super successful high fashion model at 16, and other models could be more successful in their 20s or 30s. So it really depends on your look, like the current climate, like whether your look is in at the moment, whether people see potential in you at the moment. I personally think 14 is quite young. You're still developing and maturing, like your look is going to change. I do think it's a lot to take in. Like it's a job that's so fixated around kind of the way you look. I think at 14 it's really hard to not take things too personally, or to not get hooked up on the way you look and not beat yourself up about that. Like I feel like you've got to be very strong mentally, and at 14 I think it could be quite hard, but everyone's different. I think for me at 14 I would have struggled, but another 14-year-old might absolutely thrive off of it and do super well. It's really down to the individual, I guess. So someone also asked, when did I start? And I guess this kind of relates to the age questions. I was signed when I was 15. Like I was scouted and signed when I was 15. A lot of agencies don't take models under 16 or under 18, but with my agency they have like a development board. So if there are like any young girls or really new models, they can be put on the development board, and it's not too serious at the moment. It's just about building up confidence, working around your school life, doing lots of test shoots, meeting photographers and makeup artists, and just kind of learning more about the industry and seeing whether it really is right for you. I finished my GCSEs and turned 16 quite shortly after I was scouted, and I did a lot of test shoots and I started to do a few like paid jobs. That's how I started. I was scouted at a concert in London. I didn't go full-time until I finished sixth form and I turned 18, because in the industry as well a lot of clients won't work with you unless you're 18, or you have to be chaperoned if you're under 18, especially to travel and do jobs abroad. We all just decided that it would be better to wait until I was 18 to fully kind of launch my career, because it was kind of in sync with the time I finished school as well. So it all made sense to wait until I was 18. And this is the last like age related question. Someone said, when did you start? Because I'm wondering if I'm a bit too old to start now. If you're wondering if you're too old to become a model, I don't think you should be thinking that, because there are models who are literally in their 80s and there are models who start when they're in their teens. Like there's really no age on it. I know it's really typical to think that your modeling career kind of ends in your 20s, but there are models who start in their 20s and become supermodels. You could be a model your entire life. So on a question box I asked last night, someone said, is Models One an international agency, or is it only for London-based models? Oh, my camera's gone off. For anyone that doesn't know, Models One is a modelling agency, and it's the agency I'm signed to. There isn't like a chain of Models Ones across the world. It's purely one, and it's in London, but they do sign models from across the world. You could have like a mother agent in another country and also be placed with Models One as your London agency. I think it is possible for them to scout you abroad, but what I do know is that it is based in London. Okay, I'm going to answer two more questions. So the first one says, how has the pandemic affected the modelling industry? Are you still able to travel? The pandemic has definitely affected the industry, like it has probably every single other industry. Obviously photo shoots involve a number of people, and at certain points during the pandemic it wasn't possible, or at some points during the pandemic it was fine as long as you was wearing masks. It's definitely slowed the industry down. Teams have become smaller, shows became smaller, some shows didn't happen, a lot of shoots have had to be cancelled, rescheduled because models can't get tested in time or models can't fly in to do the shoot. It has made it harder, but everyone's adapting, everyone's changing. There's been a lot of virtual shoots, people on set wear PPE, especially hair and makeup artists. And am I still able to travel? I have travelled during the pandemic for work, because obviously you are allowed to travel for work. Yes, models are still able to travel, but obviously again it varies country to country depending on what the rules and the laws are. Like during the time I'm filming this, it is looking quite unrealistic to be travelling anytime soon. And the last question I'm going to answer says, what is my favourite shoot or runway show? I don't know if this means like in general, like what shoots do I love and what shows do I love, or whether this means like shoots and shows I've done. I'm going to take it as in ones I've done. My favourite shoot was probably either shooting the lookbook for Alexander McQueen or an editorial I did in Scotland. They were both super fun and like massive moments for me. And my favourite show was Burberry, because that was the show I've always dreamed of walking. I feel like I manifested that, so yeah, again, that was another really special moment for me. There are all the questions I'm going to answer. If you want me to do like a part 2 where I answer the rest or some more, because I got quite a lot of questions and I'm sorry if I couldn't get through all of them. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!